Hello and a very warm welcome to the program Inside Politics, coming to you live on Politics and Business Television, Abuja. My name is Medina Azaki. Now, just this week, an alarming and outrageous report came from the National Bureau of Statistics. According to the Bureau of Statistics, 641,937 Nigerians were killed in the last 1 year, 2.2 million abducted, and the kidnappers raked in 2.23 trillion naira. Now, we're going to be asking the questions: how did we get to this point? Is kidnapping for ransom now the new business in town? This and more after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. I'm being joined by a friend of the house and a security expert himself. I'm Dr. Sani Aliu, Commandant General, Neighborhood Enlightenment and Safety Organization, NESO. Many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
And compliment of the season.
Wishing you the same.
All right.
That's idea.
All right. I'm Dr. Sani Aliu. For many people, it's one of the most alarming reports in recent times and very outrageous too. But for somebody like you, did it come as a surprise? 2.2 trillion.
Well, for me, it's a big surprise because I cannot even up to now
try to digest that information.
Fathom the information
Okay.
on how the Bureau of Statistics come about the figures of 2.23 trillion.
So the validity of that statistic is questionable.
Because if they have not been relating with the bandits, and the bandits are telling them how much have come into their hands within the period, how will the Bureau of Statistics be able to give us the factual figures of how much Nigerians have already given to the bandits? Is the police having the records? Who is having such records? That's where the question is. So the whole thing became as a worry that how and where did the Bureau of Statistics
get the figures
from.
And then the question to even ask, why do you have to release such kind of information? One, you're trying to create the impression that it's a lucrative business.
Yes.
One, two, you're also trying to scare away would-be investors. Yes, if I'm coming in to invest and 2.2 trillion is taken for ransom. And then the next question will be, where did that money go into? Because it's supposed to be plowed back into the economy, 2.2 trillion.
I think the DG or whoever is the head of the Bureau of Statistics has shot himself on the leg, because this has gone beyond what any country can take for granted.
And even our reputation internationally.
Is greatly haunted here. And you began to wonder, a country with all the security agencies, with the DSS, the police, the army, on top of the situation, and all the security agencies come together, you now start to ask, how is it that with all the security that are here together working against these things, how comes that still these bandits were able to collect such a humongous amount of money of 2.23 trillion? This is outrageous.
Yeah.
And then you began to ask, do we really have the police? Do we really have the army? Do we really have all the security agencies? Are they really working? How comes they say they are fighting these terrorists
and
these bandits, and they are still collecting?
If we look at the
budget,
budget,
able to collect this amount of money from them.
If we look at the budget for security in 2023, I'm not even sure.
It's up to that 2.23 trillion.
So you spend 2.2 trillion in fighting insecurity, and they have collected the money back. So that's what it means. That's what it means. And this time around, we're spending over 4 trillion for insecurity in the 2025 budget. But the questions Nigerians should be asking, how did the Bureau of Statistics get that information? And they need to explain to people, how did they collect the details? Because Is it that it is now illegal business where the transaction is being done and somebody somewhere, is getting it right there?
Maybe.
Or you just want to cause a scare?
Maybe Federal Inland Revenue have a statistic because of course it's a revenue. Banditry has become a revenue generation business where it is easy for the Bureau of Statistics to go to FIRS to say, okay, give me the revenue generated for banditry and this is the figures. Because otherwise, it's unbelievable that a government agency will be so bold to indict the whole country, to say to the world that Nigeria is a place where banditry becomes a huge business of gulping up to 2.23 trillion naira in ransom taken from Nigerians. This is outrageous. This is unbelievable.
For you and I, if we're not here discussing, I'm sure if we look at the figures, we'll say this is a place we need to invest our money.
Yes,
and for many people, I mean, a lot of people will be changing business strategy right now. Say, okay, if I invest maybe 2 billion naira, I'll be raking in some of the percentages of the 2.2 trillion. But the AFCC and the ICPC should be asking the National Bureau of Statistics,
absolutely,
where did you get that money?
Absolutely.
I mean, where did you get the statistics from? And are you trying to legalize banditry in Nigeria? Aside from custom, NNPC and maybe the FRS, no business has raked in 2.2 trillion in revenue. So these are the questions that the agencies are supposed to be asking that. But for you as a security, expert, following the trend, over time, isn't it something that we should have expected a long time ago? Because when you hear somebody's been kidnapped, the next thing you hear, he's paying 100 million, he's paying 50 million, he's paying 20 million, and it's on a daily basis.
But the police or the security agency disprove all those. They will tell you that they went and rescued people without a dime paid to the bandits.
But it's not true.
No, who do we believe? Now look at the contradiction. The security agencies are telling us that it is the government money. It is government money they use to go and rescue people without paying ransom. On one hand, on the other hand, a government state government agency, a Bureau for Statistics is telling us that people have paid 2.23 trillion naira within the period of a year.
Yeah, 12 months.
12 months. So who do we believe now? The agencies that are saying no ransom taking, or the Bureau for Statistics are saying 2.23 trillion has been taken as ransom. So
is that also not an indictment to the Office of the National Security Advisor?
Absolutely.
Shouldn't he be explaining to Nigerians exactly what is happening right now?
He should be explaining. The Chief of Army Staff should be explaining. The Chief of Defense Staff should be explaining. The IG of Police should be explaining. And all the security chiefs should be explaining, including the DGDSS. They should explain to Nigerians how comes about 2.2 trillion naira taken for ransom. And it's made public, so public as convenient as this is a normal legitimate business. And again, if you want to look from another angle, well, it has been alleged, obviously, recently or over the time that politicians are gaining more from this banditry. So are we saying now that the Bureau of Statistics is confirming that this is a legitimate business for politicians, as alleged, to the extent that they have the statistic of the amount of money that was taken and the amount of people that were taken as well? If you say the amount of people that were taken were kidnapped, well, but the amount of ransom paid, that's the most difficult aspect that I want to believe that there's something sinister that's happening that Nigerians don't know. So we need a lot of explanation. The National Assembly is hereby challenged that we need clarification on how much they have budgeted for kidnapping or not budgeted for kidnapping. They must equally come to tell us how comes kidnappers are getting 2.23 trillion in revenue generation to themselves. Is it that it's part of
and how come kidnappers don't kidnap politicians? They don't kidnap the big guys. They don't kidnap the governors. They don't kidnap the ministers. They don't kidnap SAs and PAs. They only kidnap very poor people.
Yeah, they only kidnap appointees, few appointees, and then
the everyday man on the street.
Everyday man on the street, and then the peasant farmers and all those within the hinterland that they keep collecting.
I think we're going to go into the breakdown, but let me ask you, where is 2.2 trillion naira spent? Because if that money was spent in the economy, I'm sure the lack of liquidity that we are witnessing of recent wouldn't have been there. So where's that money spent?
We have to ask Bureau to change. I mean, what do you call them?
The NBS, the National Bureau of Statistics. Where exactly is the money being spent? Is it in a clubhouse or where?
Since they know what money was generated, revenue was generated in ransom taking, they should be able to tell us which market those monies have been spent.
Okay, so let's go to the lives that have even been lost in the last 1 year. You have 614, 973 Nigerians killed in 1 year. You have the rural figure accounting for 335, 827. That's for rural people who have been killed in rural areas. And the urban area is accounting for 279 and 110. Now, when you look at the figures, do you feel worried that people in their thousands are being killed every day? So if we break it down in 12 months, it means that for every month, more than 50,000 people are killed.
No, they are not. Well, are they saying 200 and something, 600,000 people?
Yes, 614,000
people.
Yes, 937.
It's
almost 615,000.
This is very disturbing.
Yes. So let me also take it by zone according to the zones. Now, Northwest is accounting for the highest, 206,000. Northeast is accounting for 188,992. Southwest is accounting for 15,693 people killed, so far.
Very disturbing situation. Very, very disturbing situation. Well,
even in war, you won't have that.
You won't have that figure, because when we were talking about Nigeria being the third most terrorized country in the world during Jonathan, and that during Buhari, Nigeria came to the ranking of 7th most terrorized country in the world. We expect by the time that Tinubu has taken over, Nigeria should be coming down to maybe 10th most terrorized country in the world. Well, but with this figures now, Nigeria is coming back
confirming itself.
It's coming back to almost the second or the second most terrorized country in the world, or third again. So it means Tinubu's government, like the Bureau of Statistics has just said, has failed in the area of procuring security for Nigeria, safety and security for Nigerians. So if this is based on Bureau of Statistics figure, it means Tinubu's government is absolute failure as far as procuring security and safety or fighting banditry and terrorism in Nigeria is concerned.
Okay, let's even go to the breakdown of monies being paid. And the rural communities paid a whooping sum of 1,668,104, is it a trillion in the last 1 year. Rural communities accounting for the highest. And then you have the urban areas paying 850 billion. So the question will be, where do rural folks get money?
Such money from?
Yes, that they're paying over a trillion, 1.6 trillion.
Within the rural community of Nigeria. Then Nigeria must be a super rich country.
That's what I'm asking.
If rural community can cough at 1.something trillion, 1.6 trillion, then Nigeria have no business with poverty. And we shouldn't be crying over petroleum increase and high cost of foodstuff. And it means that in our rural communities is no problem. Things are going flourishing well for them, even though because of the insecurity, Nigerians are paying for it today. No food, everybody is hungry because there is no production and no farming and all those. And then, if the rural community person did not go to farm, he couldn't farm because of bandit attacks and terrorist attacks. Then how comes? Where is he getting that 1.something trillion?
To pay.
Are we saying that this NBS knows what they are doing? I am sure something is wrong with NBS.
But don't forget, this morning, they came up with a report that hackers have hacked their system. So could it be that those hackers putting those figures there?
Well, well, the truth is that that's why we need to put professionals
Okay.
to take
Round pegs and round holes.
Yes, because all these things are, first of all, it's unprofessional for you to come on board and start giving figures and statistics that will scare investors away from our country. That will even make
a very damaging
report for that matter, and that will even make the citizen itself being uneasy, become scared, become not, So I can't understand. And then encouraging these bandits again to continue with their havoc. After all, it's a very rosy business, and nothing can. No. This is bad. Absolutely bad.
I'm sure when they call them to order, or when they call them to explain, they'll be giving us details as to even the motive behind releasing, such figures. But are we not into the era of data manipulation? Just a couple of days back, I watched a video where Senator Alero was talking to the revenue-generating agencies from FRS to Custom to the NNPC, and he said 2023 budget was 37 trillion. And according to what you people have given to us today, you have generated 51 trillion. So why are we borrowing? I mean, the question he was asking, yes, because we have exceeded our revenue generation. So we have 51 trillion and our budget is just 37 trillion. Then why the massive borrowing? So are we in an era where data is being manipulated to fit some kind of motives? Is that what we're having?
Well, that's where you now find out that the system is as porous as Nigerian borders is porous. If government figures and government system can be so manipulated that they'll be giving a very contradictory figures from the one hand, and the other they could not even manage the budget expectation and the budget gains and whatever, and they'll come out to tell us that this new budget we are going to fund it by about 9 point something
49.7 trillion,
and they are going to borrow about 9 trillion.
No, they are borrowing 13 trillion.
13 trillion to
That's
fund
the deficit,
to fund the budget. So,
and then the crazy part is we are going to spend 15 trillion to service debt. Now, the question many people will ask, if you have a 49.7 trillion as a budget, and your capacity to generate revenue is just 34 trillion, you're going to borrow 13, you're going to use 15 to service debt, why don't you just bring up a budget of 30 trillion? And save us the trouble. Now, there's no way you bring inflation to 15% when you are borrowing over 13 trillion, because the more you borrow, the more your inflation, rises because of the exchange rate palaba. Do people really think straight when they produce this kind of figures?
Well,
or they just feel that, no, we have to be very ambitious, we have to be very bold. But a lot of experts are already saying that it's not realistic. Your expectations are not realistic.
But can you imagine your National Assembly, how they were behaving yesterday?
Our National Assembly.
Clapping,
not my national. Our.
Clapping and singing.
Now, I want you to correct that. Our National Assembly.
So I'm ashamed to be part of the National Assembly today.
But you're a Nigerian.
That they are running this country.
But you're a Nigerian. But you're Nigerian.
Because this, what are they doing there? Is it about, is by your mandate as stand? Is that what we
but they are only politicians. No, Dr. Sani Ali, they are only politicians.
Are you running politics with Nigerian economy? Are you running politics with Nigerian lives? Are you running politics with the day-to-day living of the 94% on the street? Are you running politics with all the suffering and no food on the table of Nigerians today? What kind of politics is that? Why can't you for once tell us something that is realistic? Why can't you be serious with the country? Are we not a serious country? What is becoming of our people? That our leaders don't see that the danger that Nigerians are hungry. They don't see the danger, and they don't even take the warnings of Bob Marley, who says a hungry man is an angry man. They are taking things for granted because Nigerians, for all intents and purposes, we are one of the most docile society in the world. Anything comes and goes.
But Dr. Sani
the truth is that
Dr. Sani, let me jump in here. Yesterday, the Speaker speaker raised all the concerns that you spoke about. He talked about GDPs across the African countries, how much their GDP growth rate is, and he talked about how Nigeria GDP growth rate is low. He raised those concerns yesterday during his own speech. So it is not a politicized event that went on yesterday. There was some kind of truth and some kind of concerns.
My concern too is that with all what is happening to the Nigerian people, these guys in the National Assembly have thrown away all the caution. You start singing on your Monday we stand, even though Nigerians are not happy with what the government is doing, even though Nigerians are hungry, there is no sign, there is no any remorse of concern by these people at National Assembly to even show that Nigerians people are suffering. Mr. President, you have come to us before us. What do we do to how to this? Or even though whatever he said, it's okay. At least show Mr. President that Nigerians are suffering. There is hunger on the land, and then.
But Mr. President himself called them 11th National Assembly.
So can you imagine?
And when they corrected him, he said, "You are all re-elected." But maybe that's just on a lighter note.
No, he likes cracking jokes. As far as I'm concerned, it's a crack joke, but the truth is that it's before the global media. The whole world is watching.
Shows how
that shows how very unserious Nigerians are.
Okay.
With all the tumultuous problems we are having in this country, and they will equally go and say, even when we have been accused that our electoral we need electoral reform, our electoral process is very damaging. I mean, it's very corrupt. That the president will throw all caution again to the wind and say 11 assembly all of you have been confirmed elected. Haba.
All right. Dr. Sani Aliyu, I'm afraid I just have to pause you here. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll be looking at our electoral process itself. What kind of people does it throw out, and what kind of impact do they make after their stay in office? It's still politics, inside politics on Politics and Business TV right here in Abuja. We'll take a short break, and when we return, more issues will be coming up. Stay with us.
In the heart of Nigeria, where tradition meets innovation, comes a revolution in cooking oil. Introducing Gender Premium Cooking Oil. Gender oil is made from granules, a natural oil source that doesn't contain any toxins or harmful chemicals, cholesterol included. You heard that right. Gender oil is 100% cholesterol-free. Every drop of Gender oil is packed with vitamin A and essential nutrients, delivering the unmistakable taste and aroma that is loved by generations of African food lovers. And here's the icing on the cake. Gender oil is fully certified by NAFDAC, and every bottle has unique security features so you can trust its quality, purity, and safety. So when you want no compromise on health and vitality while enjoying that authentic African flavor in all your dishes, Gender oil is the premium choice. Gender Premium Granite Oil. Unleash the goodness in every drop. Now available in stores near you.
Welcome back. It's still Inside Politics on Politics and Business TV right here in Abuja. And we're still discussing the alarming rate of insecurity in Nigeria. Dr. Sani Aliyu, the Commandant General, Neighborhood Enlightenment and Safety Organization, NESO, is still in the house. Dr. Sani, welcome back once again. Let's go to, the kind of representation that we have. And we've been saying this for a very long time. Our electoral process has been faulty. The quality of people will throw up every 4 years they are the people who have brought us to where we are today. That's on one side. And then the other side is the docility of the Nigerians themselves that you spoke about. When people accept a sachet of spaghetti or a sachet of Indomie or a mudu of rice, as low as that, do you think those kind of people have the audacity, to question decision that is being taken by their representative on their behalf?
Well, first of all, I want to correct an impression that Nigerians have a voting system. Yes, we have what it looks as a voting system, but the votes of the people don't count. We have to understand that this
and who is to be blamed for that?
Well, of course, like I said earlier, Nigerians we are one of the most docile community in the world, and everything goes. And unfortunately, the politicians have come to terms and understand this, that whatever they pull, goes. And that's why anybody can just wake up today and say fuel has become 1,000 naira, fuel has become this amount. Food, you go to the market, you want to buy rice, they say rice now has become 150,000 and so and so, and nothing happened.
Dr. Sani and you, the allegation, the connivance, as far as the security, agencies are concerned, we've not been able to get that. We've not been able to deal with that ever since this insecurity started. Who should we be blaming?
Well, I don't understand your question very well. I don't understand connival or... I don't know.
All right. So let me take it again. We've heard it over and over. There's connivance. There's allegation of connivance between our security agencies and, the bandits or the insurgents or the ragtag army. Because the question will be, if you have the capacity that we have today, the kind of money that we spend every year, to fight insecurity. And here we are having a ragtag army wreaking havoc in our communities, taking away 2.2 trillion from us, and also leaving a population that is helpless and hopeless. Who should we blame for that?
Well, if you like, first of all, I want to give you one little definition.
Is there connivance? Let me ask you.
Connival,
Is there connivance? Is that allegation true?
Connival, I won't be able to say whether there is connival or not, but I want us to examine what kind of criminality are we fighting. Maybe from this definition we may get to understand whether there is connival or there's no connival. First, terrorism is national, is international, is transnational, and is local. So even this banditry we are seeing it has similarity with terrorism itself, because the most of the bandits are not from Nigeria; they are from our neighboring countries, conniving with Nigerians. Some of Nigerians laid-back youths, and then and some politicians, as alleged, because politicians are definitely connected with banditry.
So you have established the fact that there's some sort of connivance.
We're not establishing the fact alone. There are several allegations from, even including that it's supposed to be indicting some serving ministers who were former governors in this current administration. That the government seems not to worry about it, and they are still giving them a very huge responsibility in the areas of security. Meanwhile, from their state front, they are alleging them of being involved. Some of them with these kingpins bandits, that they have some sort of relationship with them. Some of them were even harboring some of these bandits in their homes. Some of them, these bandits were some of them even a terrorist. A terrorist was seen in this house, and so on and so forth. But you see, the whole thing is mixed.
Okay, let's start with the mixing itself. When you watch videos of these terrorists or supposed terrorists being killed, and you see the people themselves on the ground, one thing is very, very pronounced. One, some of them are children, some of them are teenagers, and you could see that this is definitely not a trained army. This is just a ragtag army holding people to ransom. So do you still call that some kind of international or what terrorists?
I call terrorists, as far as I'm concerned, miscreants.
Okay.
I call them miscreants. And I find it very difficult that the Nigerian army, who has been getting laurel in settling crisis, even when you talk about
it's been held to ransom today
by miscreants in this country, and that's why.
Is it a shame?
I find
is it a shame?
As far as I'm concerned, it's a shame, and I'm still advocating that the Nigerian army really don't have any business to do with fighting terrorism, and I'm still advocating that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria should look into this matter, including the National Security Advisor, that we need to create an agency that will be mandated and dedicated to fighting terrorism. The Nigerian army are trained to protect, for all intent and purposes, to protect our territorial integrity. Today, if for God forbid China is harassing Nigeria or want to invade Nigeria today, is it the same Nigerian army that have been messed up by the Nigerian military that have been messed up by the terrorists, or that have been overstretched by this fight of terrorism, that will go and defend the country with a country like China? We need to protect our military. That placement Nigerian military
Who's going to protect the military?
Of course, the executives, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria,
and the National Assembly. Do you think they have the political will to do that?
That's why we are calling for that political will. We are telling Tinubu today here in this program that Nigerian army has no business to do with fighting this miscreant called terrorism and bandits.
Is that the reason why he said he's going to fight terrorism with AI, artificial intelligence?
Well,
do you think that will work?
As far as I'm concerned, what we need to draw the attention of the president to is that Nigeria is a country of over 9,000 square kilometers with a population of over 200 million people. And of these 200 million people, you have about 60%, 60 to 55% that are youths. And of these 60 to 55% that are youth, over 60% or 70% of this youth, 65%, are unemployed. Like, for instance, in NESO, I have over yes,
I'm coming to NESO
70,000 members.
We have to wind down. I'm coming to NESO. Do you think organizations such as yours and many others can fight insurgency as we speak today?
I challenge the Nigerian government that give NESO that responsibility and just give us just a year, 1 year. 1 year, and see the result that you get.
Is that a promise?
It's a challenge. Not even
How
a promise.
much would you need to execute that?
Whatever the government spend, if we don't achieve it, we are going to return it to the government.
No, for instance, if you are speaking to me as the president of the federal,
let's paint a scenario. I cannot give you such figure in camera. But as far as I'm concerned, give NESO the responsibility and give us 1 year. We will have delayed. You will anywhere you find what is called banditry, any part of the country where it is infested now, then come out. We'll give you back your money.
So you ask for $1 trillion naira. No, I'm very sure you asked me. You asked for $1 trillion naira.
I have not done any budget. I'm not an accounting person that I put the figures together. I think we have specialists that will do that.
Okay,
but as far as I'm concerned, record achievement within the period of 12 months. In fact, you won't hear anything called terrorists in Nigeria. I mean, banditry, harassment, or terrorism harassment from the northeast or from the northwest. You won't hear any sort of.
Okay, but Atisani, people listening to you right now will say these are the same people who also want to cash in on the cow, the security cow that is being available right now. They'll say yes, you are also one of those who want to cash in.
Absolutely. Yes. Instead of going to say that we should go and import mercenaries from outside or bring in France or any other country to come and fight give us security. Meanwhile, we have this much youths that are not employed that can sacrifice their life for the purpose of securing their country, and nobody is patronizing them. I mean, that's an unfortunate situation.
Okay, so with NESO, all the jobless youth will be co-opted.
We have over 70,000 youth today that are members of NESO and are vexed and are ready to move into action with immediate effect if the government will give them the support. We are just telling the government, give us what to work,
$1 trillion
material to work with. We are not saying pay us. Don't pay us. Give us the material to work with. We'll go in.
What kind of material are you looking for?
This is
equipment. What kind of
sacrifice.
are you looking
This
for?
is sacrifice for one's nation. This patriotism we are talking about. Okay. We are talking about patriotism and sacrifice for one nation.
So
we are committed to die for our country.
Okay, and part of the commitment will be take millions of AK-47 and get the work done without a penny.
If you can survive to go and fight with empty stomach with only weapons, then if there's any human being that survived that in the world, we are ready to do that.
All right. As we are winding down completely, what do you make of the reports that we might be having French soldiers
Well,
on our soil.
as far as I'm concerned, I will tell President Tinubu with due respect that Macron is his personal friend. Nigeria has never been friend to France, and we don't have any business to do with France. The colonies of France, we have seen how badly battered they are by the rule of France and by the manipulation of France in their country. And today the Niger, the Mali, the Burkina Faso have driven them away from their country. Nigeria the Tinubu should
and
not
Senegal and one other country is following
so etc. Tinubu has no business to bring into France into this country or any other country. Nigeria military is well-trained military, is well-classed military in the world. There is no security challenge that has gone beyond Nigerian military. No one, unless if they don't want to work. But if they want to work, none of them, okay, without even any AI, without even any technology, allow the Nigerian military and fashion them to be dedicated to their country, they will deliver. The only thing is that they are fighting this from one hand and then petting from another hand. So if we want to secure this country, let's go all out and get rid of these people. I'm not saying that the military cannot deliver these services, but I'm saying that they are not ready to do so.
All right. Dr. Sani Ali, when it comes to insecurity, I know we can talk over and over and over again. I must thank you very much for your time and always ready to come whenever we call you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And that's the show from all of us here. It's bye for now. My name is Medina Azaki.